This is in response to someone that wanted to see how I made the sun visor for the Garmin GPS, and this is basically it, mounted on a magic arm. And I did have to construct 2 GoPro bases to accommodate this. It's a basic one. And you see I took the regular mount off and I put a GoPro base on there, and it's glued on and it's good and strong. And notice you do it offset, so you got quite a bit of material there holding it in place. Logic is to make this sun visor, and I even added some wings on the side. But the basic construction is an 1.5 inch band that we create, starting at this one edge, then it bends, 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 and they join at this particular point. So it's one continuous piece of material, 1.5 inches. And I'm just gonna, actually I didn't probably even need the lines, but you may not have one of these, I don't know, but you should get a straight edge. Now, you just simply cut down, hold her in place. This is a illustration board. I got it from Hobby Lobby. It's a real thin, strong, cardboardy material, but it seems to work real well for doing what we're going to do here. Should have this thing pretty well done. Once you've got it scored, you can easily just follow it down. Now this is what we're after. We're going to make this piece all the way around and make this base. And what we do is we come over here. Alright, now I need material, the thickness of this. I can't even, I want to try to get as close to the thickness as I can. Like a little bit hanging off. Because when we get to the end, we're going to wrap around and it's going to come right on top and join. That's where your hot glue is going to go, right there. So the way we do this is you put it with a little space there. You can even use a piece of cardboard or material to get your spacing. Once it's there, I'm going to make sure I have enough there. Then you simply mark this little location where it hits, right along there. Okay, now you want to make sure you're square with this. I know this looks rusty, but it is. But what we want is a straight line. Okay, so I've got my little square, and I'm going to draw this. Whoop. Draw this line right there, right at that particular point. Okay, now what we're going to do, and I'm only going to show one, there's going to be one for each corner. There'll be 3 of these, and then the fourth one will go down. Whoop. So we started like this. Okay, now always start with your line, or where it says Garmin at this end. So this is going to be the top corner. And what we do now is we make a line on either side. I can use anything now that I got a straight line. I'm going to go right here next to it, to the other side of it, and then to this side of it. Like that. Now what we're going to do is score down through there very lightly, not hard, And actually, I don't even really need that. I'm going to show you. You can just kind of freehand it. You just kind of go right down, following your line, and then you go on the other side. Follow down. Just a light little dip there. And what you're going to do is you're going to go in here and you're going to pull this out. Like that. Okay, then you drag your knife through there, and what you should have done is ended up scoring it a little bit so that you can bend this. What we're going to do is we're going to actually bend this over right at that point. And if you see, we've got our little space right there, and if we need to trim, we can trim it. But we've got our first bend right there, and then once you do that bend, you hold her steady. Okay. Yep. Okay, and then you make your other little mark, holding this up flush against there, then don't move it, then put it right where the edge of this is. There. Okay, holding it tight and go right on that line. Okay, and now I think with these two, the Garmin was at the edge. We go down here, and now you bend this up like that. Whoop. So anyway, you see that then you would come along and you would get the, whoop, you'd get this final one right here, and you do the same thing and then bend this up, cut it, and this is where they're going to join together right on the bottom. Okay, so that's how you do it. Now, this is the completed deal, and what it does is it goes around, and remember we made this side a little bit longer, so it's going to fit right in here, and we're going to glue these with a hot glue gun. We're going to form these two. I won't have this in where it'll be tight when I do this. I'm going to get my glue gun, and I'm going to butt these two right together and glue it in. Now, I know this line is correct because I did it this way. I brought this around, and if you'll notice, when I had it like this, I cut it exactly right at this edge, and I have just a little bit more left on this side, so you can see that it's going to fit just like that. Now you see it's kind of lopsided, but what you're going to do is you need a square piece on the back that's going to make this right. So now we need to make the back so that we can get this thing to a straight angle. Do it all the way to the front. Okay, like that. Now you want to go to a corner, and this is going to be square, so you know it's square, and you're going to put this bottom edge right there, and you're going to push in, and you're going to make this to where it's right to the edge of that. And if you need to get a straight edge, that you can get this that way. And then what I do is I push this all the way close to the top, and then draw the line of where I'm going to cut as straight as you can get, and this is going to go like that. Now I'm going to cut inside that line a little bit inside, and this piece will fit right on the back perfect. This is where your straight edge is really going to come in handy, and it's important that you don't get this too short. So I know the line is a little bit out, so I'm going to go just inside that line as best I can. Right there, I'm going to go up to the edge, and about 2 cuts should do it. And don't pull it, kind of cut it. There. There's my square piece. It's got to fit right in there. Yep. So what you may have to do is pull this out. And before you do this, we need to take a 1/2 inch, take everything out of the center except a 1/2 inch band all the way around. Now there's our back. That's the piece that come out of it. And so now this seam is on the right hand side, so it's going to get glued right along this back. So now I've got to work real carefully, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue one side down perfectly flat, then I'm going to move to the other side and do it, and then I'll turn it over and glue on the inside, pulling this in. So that's how you can kind of do it. So I'm going to do it and I'll come back. Now it's important that you get this flush with this and flush with both sides. You want to start with a nice square corner, then the rest of it will fall into place. See? After carefully looking at it, I felt that getting the other end was more important, to get it flush and flat as I can get it and square as I can get it. Then the sides I can push in and they'll come together just nicely. So that's the way you got to do it. One end, then get the other end, and then you can push in and tack the center, and then you can kind of work it in from the inside. Now clean up on aisle 1, 2, 3, and 4. You got a little excess glue, but the main thing is getting this squared as best you can, and you do have a little forgiveness as it's drying, that you can squeeze it a little bit, and then you can tack it on the inside. You run some glue down this inside edge, and that gives it the final hoorah. So you do have a little leeway that you can pinch and square up while it's drying and do pretty good. And then you run glue all the way around, hot glue, and you've got your box. Then later you can, with your knife, you can kind of trim off this excess, plus you're going to paint it. Okay, now we're going to try for a fitting. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. Our little seam is on the lower right hand edge. That's where we started, so we know how this is the bottom and this is going to be the top. Now you just set this in there and it should fit pretty tight if you got everything right. And you push around and presto, it's there. So it's going to fit nice and it's going to be tight. And then we're going to make the visor part, and we're going to make the wings. I'm going to make it out of one piece going all the way. It'll be laying out, and then we'll bend it here and here. Before I had made this as one piece, and we will cut this hole also ahead of time. Then, just like I did relief cuts like this, we'll do a relief cut on each one of these corners, and we'll just take and start, just start here, bend it over, and it'll look like this when we're finished. Voila! Okay, now we're going to make the top shade and the wings out of this piece right here. And I think I'll go a little bit further so I got plenty of room. Okay, what this is 2 11/16 wide. That's how wide I made that. I don't know why I come out with an odd number, but you can make yours whatever you want. Now, it's very important that you orientate this right and place it on right. We're going to have the back edge here, and this is going to be the bottom and this is going to be the top. So put this in this position, the same as up. You put this over this way, and we're just going to roll it, and right here will be our 2 relief cuts right here. Then we'll go over, and this is going to be the bottom, so this will be the length, this will be where it'll be cut off, so it'll only be from there to there, and that's our shade. We also have to cut it down on both ends to get that wing effect. So with the seam up at this point, start at the back, your seam is here, get the bottom edge of this right line with the bottom, this is the bottom, and you're going to make your relief cut right on this line right there. So now I need to do my little line right here, right on the line, and I'm going to freehand this lightly. I'm going to press with moderate, just a nice little pressure, not real hard at the edge, and then okay, now what you do, again, put this at the right point. This has got to be up, the back is that way, and you put it right there, flush again, and then we go ahead and we make our mark. This is flush with the back, flush with the bottom, and I make a mark here, and it's going to be a mark right there, and we're going to cut that. Whoop, I'll use this. This is going to be our wing. Right there, and I simply cut this along here. This is going to go over here, and you can see that that's flush, and there, that's good, and it's at the back. And now with it in position just like that, I mark my other relief place right there. That's where I want the bend. Then I just simply, nice, just the way it's supposed to. Okay, perfect. Then I'm going to do, for the relief cut, I do a little bit more. So now I make my little cut right on the line, and then I'm going to go inside of this one a little bit. And you just dig down a little bit, and there. Same up here, back that way. Get her in position all the way to the back. This is going to be glued in position. And then, presto, and that's going to all be glued. And now we want to find this point to cut it off at. And that will be right there. I cut her off right on the right side of that, just a little bit. Okay, I gotta get her out here. And what I'm doing is right here is where I want that. Oops. Yep, it should go right there to there. Okay, and it's got to be orientated right. The shade is, this is the back edge, and this is the way it's going to go, like that. It all glued around, and when it's painted, it's going to look perfect. So I'll come back in just a little bit. Okay, this is the way we're going to do it. Now the back edge is here, and the seam is on, this is the bottom, so this is the way it's going to look. Now we want to find the position to do this in, so I pull this up and push it that way, and then I'm going to just go along here and squiggle me in some glue. Okay, and I'm going to find the edge. I'm going to pull this up, push it that way a little bit, making sure that it's right on the edge, and hold her. There, perfect. Okay, and then that should be good. And when I get the top done and held in place, then I'll do the sides. All up and down and right across this edge here, working quickly. Now I make sure that they're there, and the back edge is good, squeezing, and the bottom edge, perfect. And then you do the same thing here, making sure you have this back edge and down there good, and squeeze. You got you a sun visor for your GPS. And let's see how this works. This glue works fast. And there you go. There's the back. And all we need to do is paint this. And you can see, oh, we did forget, we've got to do the hole up here. Okay, I got my black paint, and I'm ready to paint. All right, now we're going to take a look, a close-up look at our finished product. Here's the sun visor shade for the GPS. We turn her on. There you go. Now the big part is this magic arm connected up to the windshield support, and you can see the special connection, GoPro connection, and you can bring that right up to your face, and that would be the view, and it works the best you could possibly get.